Real estate agents and real estate team owners, do you run a real estate team, but you're not as profitable as you were hoping you would be, or you think other people are? Do you think adding more agents is going to solve that profitability question? Dave Z or Dave Zajdzinski with eXp Realty and Leverage Agent. I want to teach you the simplest, quickest profit and loss statement that you can do to really help expose where your real estate team is at from a true profit and loss standpoint. Here's the problem that I've seen with many real estate businesses. We have one bank account. So we have all of these transactions that are closing for 10 agents, 20 agents, 50 agents. We don't really know how to isolate where the profits are coming from. So in this quick video, I'm going to teach you a quick P&L. I'm going to teach you how to really audit your owns and what are some of the changes that you might want to make. So very simply, this is the easiest way to look at it. If you run a team, I want you to get a piece of paper out or whatever you can draw on. And I want you to write $10,000 at the top of that paper. So let's just say you run a 50-50 model. Everything that's sold is on a 50-50 split. So out of that 10,000, we're going to see 5,000. We're going to go agent, buyer agent, listing agent. Then on the other side, you're going to run a line down and put that $5,000 over there. And you're going to put that company retained dollars. This is cost of goods sold, company retained dollars. So now we're at 50-50. Now go back and find out what your operating expenses are. So what I typically see, anybody that's providing office or transaction coordinator or some type of lead generation staff, an ISA, any of these positions, I typically see team leaders spending between 30 and 35% of their net GCI, their gross commission, and that's the ratios that we're seeing. So we're going to call it 35%. So take 3,500 out of your 5,000, what are you left with? It should be $1,500. So if you run a sales team where you're 50-50 with a 35% overhead, you're keeping 15%. That's not bad. In fact, that's better than most. I tell you, I've done this for hundreds of agents in which we do that and they're left with $145, $150, maybe because their splits are 70-30 and then their expenses are 30%. Most big teams are running such small margins, they don't even know it. And here's why it gets confusing, because your own production, if you're still in production, is intertwined in those bank accounts. So here's how we can see how much more you're making. Take another sheet of paper, put 10,000 at the top, and now we want to subtract your OE, your operating expense, which is $3,500. So if you sell a home as the rainmaker, you're going to make $6,500 versus $1,500. That's what I want most people to see who's running a team. When I talk to most team leaders and coach them, they're thinking it's 2-to-1. Oh, it's 50-50, so if they sell 2, I just need to sell 1. Well, in this example here, your agents, they have to sell 4.3 homes for every 1 home that you sell, because we're going to divide 6,500 by 1,500 to get that ratio. I just did a coaching call last night with somebody who's 7-to-1. So every time they sell a home, it's worth 7 on their team. So you have to ask yourself, what's easier to do? To sell 50 homes using my model or 400 homes using the team? So that's step 2, know your numbers. Step 1, get this P&L figured out. We don't have to get that advanced. We can just break it down here. Now we can use that P&L to get leaner on some models, but we just want to at least know what those ratios are so you can identify how many homes you need to sell versus your team. After coaching with me, what a lot of team leaders find is they can get their P&L and their operating expenses down to 15% because they have less staff, they have less lead generation, less seats in their CRM. So step 2 is getting that narrowed down for your business. So step 1, get a good P&L. Step 2, figure out how many homes you need to sell. Step 3, change your business so you can change your P&L. That's what I did in September of 22. I cut $600,000 of overhead and still sold the same amount of real estate because I understood if I took the sales back, how many less homes I would need to sell in order to make the same amount of money. It's all about profit. So I'm going to give you a free download to my profit and loss, this exercise here. Reach out to me and take back those relationships. Here's what I would tell you. After running the big team and cutting it, keeping those relationships is the most valuable thing you have in real estate. So if you are giving somebody a good qualified buyer because you want your time back, I want to show you how to get your time back and still work with that buyer, because 5 years from now, they're going to work with that realtor on your team. The average realtor is going to stay on your team for 2.5 years, but there's a 100% chance they're going to keep that relationship when they leave. So if you have the leads, let me show you how to work them to where it doesn't take your time. You could be anywhere on the planet, and we're going to have other people doing the communication and showings for you. But download my free P&L so you can really understand your numbers and see where you're making your profit and how we can help those numbers out. If you want to book a discovery call with me, click the link and set up a time. I'll give you a free audit of what I would do if I were in your shoes right now. If I had your business, what would be the next decision that I would make? Dave Z, eXp Realty, and Leverage Agent.